Shalom. First off, I want to start off by saying all praise, power, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushua. That's the true name of who the world calls God. His true name is Yahweh. And who the world calls Jesus Christ. His true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. I want to say double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, who consists of the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the ones that are out there on highways and byways week in and week out preaching His word in truth and 100% truth and sincerity for the elect, for the love of the Lord, and fear and trembling, man. Because that's what we do this work in, is fear and trembling, man, and that's in wisdom. But I'm gonna just get right up into it. This is Matthew 24:3, and it says, "And he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples, and as he sat upon the mountain of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many." And there's things happening right now as we speak, man. People are calling themselves the Comforter, which really the Comforter is Yahushua in the Scriptures, man. The understanding of His Word. That's already happening. Okay? Verse 6. "Ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, which are happening." Now you're having internal wars, which we're going to go over, starting to slowly spark up. Right now we have a smoldering smoke. You can see the smoke. Where there's smoke, there's fire. It says, "See that ye be not troubled, for these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." It says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there should be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places." And earthquakes are happening in diverse places. All over the world, there's a massive amount of earthquakes happening. Pestilence is happening. New diseases are coming out. Infections are mutating to past the point where antibiotics have no use against them. And famines. You have a famine in Yemen. You have a famine in Venezuela. You have famines all over the world right now, man. Humanitarian crisis is happening right now all over the world. And nations rising against nations and kingdom against kingdoms, man. You see Russia versus the U.S., Iran versus Israel, Syria versus Israel, the EU versus Russia. All these things are happening. Nation rising against nation. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Now I'm going to get into this article, and I got like 2 or 3 more precepts. Lord's will, this is edifying. Because we're in the time of the end. We're in the time that the Most High is going to visit this world. We're in the time that the Lord's going to raise up his men that have been doing His work in truth and sincerity and having faith in His name and catching all the heralds of their trials and doing their best to keep pushing His word. We're in those times. We're in the time of great reward, man. Now, this article is from RT News. It says, "Fear and loathing. Trump aides advised to arm themselves as leftist rage escalates." And this is beautiful, man, because this is just another way that martial law is going to kick off, that the Lord's going to put all these race wars into play, because really this liberal versus conservative view and all this leftist versus right views and all this shit. This is really just, Esau falling and the Most High having these things brought to the forefront and getting Esau uncomfortable. And when the so-called white man, who is Esau Edom according to the Scriptures, gets uncomfortable, he starts to lash out. Now I'm gonna read this, man, because this is beautiful, man. It says, "As resistance for Trump administration moves from Twitter to the streets." So it started off as internet gangsters to in real life, man. Many of the right are anticipating the protests will turn violent. Trump's aides, they say, should arm themselves. Last weekend, saw chanting protesters camped out of Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen house. It says White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders booted from a Virginia restaurant with her family, and Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi screamed and spat on by a progressive mob as she tried to attend a movie in Tampa. It also saw Democrat Representative Maxine Waters, California, a committed anti-Trumper who's called for the president's impeachment dozens of times, come out and condone public harassment of Trump officials, man. So now you have a representative in the House of Representatives condoning and encouraging people to harass elected officials that support Trump. See if I find the scripture right now. It's Isaiah 19:2. It says, "And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom." It says, "And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards." So this is what's happening right now, man. The Lord set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, man, which is beautiful. You know? The house divided can't stand, man. And this is two sides. You know, they call it the House of Representatives. They call it the two house of democracy. You know, the House of Representatives. You got the Republicans and you got the Democrats. You know? This is truly a house divided. Now it says, if you see somebody from that, it says, this is what Maxine Waters said. If you see somebody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gas station, it says, you get out and you create a crowd and you push back on them and you would tell them they are not welcome anymore anywhere, said Waters. It says the political leftist rage has spiked since news about the Trump administration's separation of children from their illegal immigrant parents through the president's immigration policy into a national spotlight. The President Trump, hit by Waters calling her an extraordinarily low IQ person, but to many on the right, the newfound aggression of the anti-Trump left means Republicans need to get concealed carry permits and arm up. And this is beautiful, man, because at a certain point, this is going to push policy. You know, right now, I believe right now, still the majority of the House of Representatives are all on Trump's side. They're part of that cabinet, you know? So this is just going to push policy, because at a certain point, you know, Lord's will, at a certain point, this is going to make them push policy to protect themselves and to condemn people that talk against them. And this is going to be beautiful. It says Trump's 11-year-old son, Barron, and 4-year-old granddaughter were threatened in recent days with actor and activist Peter Fonda in a deranged rant last week, calling for Barron to be ripped from his mother's arms and put in a cage with pedophiles. It says actor and conservative Twitter commentator James Woods warned on Monday that violence is the next stop on the Mad Maxine slippery slope and encouraged right-wingers to buy guns in preparation. It says there is simply not enough police in the D.C. or Virginia or Maryland to protect all Trump officials at their homes, and when they go out to restaurants. John Loft told Washington Examiner on Monday, getting a concealed handgun permit would be helpful to protect themselves in their family. It says Lot is a conservative author and president of Pro-Gun Crime Prevention Research Center who favors citizens taking the law into their own hands. And that's a beautiful, man. This is beautiful. 2nd Ezra 15. And 14, it says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction are nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." Yea, take the law in your own hands. It says, verse 16, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." And that's part of it, man. That's part of it. You know, it's going to be all lawlessness. It's going to be your law versus another man's law. And this is beautiful, man. This is gearing up. And the more I read this, because I really barely briefly went over this, man. The more I read this, it's more comforting to me, man. Because this place has to go down, man. And this is beautiful. Now it says while law-abiding citizens are allowed to apply for certain concealed carry permits in Washington D.C. and neighboring Virginia, waiting lists can be long. And while Trump officials with permits can freely stockpile weapons at home and carry a concealed pistol to the grocery store, they cannot carry in federal buildings, on public transit, or in bars or restaurants where alcohol is served. Says the same week of Fonda's threatening Twitter rant, New York-based activist Sam Levine trawled the professional profile website LinkedIn to identify some 1,600 people working for immigration and customs enforcement. The agency tasked with rounding up and detaining illegal immigrants. Levine created a database that included public information like job titles and profile pictures of the officials. After publication, the database was taken down by GitHub and Medium, who claimed it violated their community rules. Transparency organizations WikiLeaks hosted the database, and several Antifa resistance groups tweeted links to ISIS agent profiles, children's names, and home addresses. It's the public's rights to know the faces of the Gestapo and who's creating, enforcing, and filling concentration camps in our name. Read a tweet from a user named Nathaniel Emerit. It says, later retweeted by the Pacific Northwest Anti-Fascist Workers Collective. Woo! This is good, man. This is beautiful. This is going to kick off, man. This is going to be a catapulting point, man. This is the Lord letting shit pop off, man. This is beautiful. I can't believe I didn't go through this more, man. I'm gonna just get this last precept, man. Brother saw the article. It's still on the screen. You type it in on Google. Look it up yourself. You know. And you know, be glad, for the time is short, man. The days are drawing near, man. It says, he answered me, 2nd Ezra 91, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, not regarding their kings nor their princes, meaning their elected officials, the people in rulership, the people in power, the people in deciding positions, not regarding them. When you see part of these signs pass, verse 4, it says, then shalt thou well understand that the highest spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world had a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the time also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. You know? I want to say double honor to elders and apostles, great millstone, peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, and call halal Yahweh Shem Shai, man. This stuff is heating up. Keep going, brothers. Shalom.